Club Candy. Chapter 8. The Secret. The arrangement with Sal Marcone settled into a strange, unspoken routine. It was a dangerous dance, a pantomime of deception that Joe performed with a skill that surprised him. Once every few weeks, Sal would approach him, always with the same false bonhomie, the same mocking smile. "Got a little bonus for you, Reynolds," he'd say. And Joe would play his part. He'd feign a weary resignation, a reluctant acceptance of the boxes of candy that were his supposed payment for some small, off-the-books job. He became an actor, his face a mask of gullibility, his posture one of defeat. He played the fool, the poor, simple-minded dockworker who was too dumb or too scared to demand his due. And Sal, blinded by his own arrogance and prejudice, believed the performance. He saw what he wanted to see. A black man who knew his place, a man easily deceived, a man whose humiliation was a source of private amusement. But beneath the mask, Joe was a different man. Each box of candy he loaded into his borrowed pushcart was not representing his shame, but a small victory. Each mocking laugh from Sal and his men was a note in a symphony of secret triumph. He was no longer their victim. He was their accomplice in a crime they didn't even know was being committed. He was stealing from the thieves, and the irony of it was a hard, secret kernel of joy in his heart. The true meaning of the transaction was revealed only in the quiet of his own home, in the late hours of the night, when the children were asleep and the world outside was still. He and Eleanor would sit at the kitchen table, the day's earnings from the candy business spread out before them, a small mountain of pennies, nickels, and dimes. And beside it, Joe would place his own contribution, a handful of crumpled dollar bills, the cash he had been paid for his legitimate day's labor. The money Sal thought was the entirety of his wage. This was their secret, a shared conspiracy that bound them tighter than their wedding vows. A secret lived in their whispered conversations, in their shared glances over the heads of their children, in the quiet understanding that passed between them in the dark. The danger of it was a constant, low hum beneath the surface of their lives, but it was a danger they faced together, and it forged their partnership into something as strong and resilient as steel. The money went into a tin box, a simple biscuit tin that had long since lost its label. The box lived under their bed, hidden beneath a loose floorboard, a treasure buried in the heart of their home. Each night, after counting the day's take, Eleanor would lift the floorboard and add the coins and the crumpled bills to the growing hoard. The sound of the metal lid closing was a sound of security, a sound of hope, a sound that drowned out the noise of their poverty. That tin box became the repository of their dreams. It held a promised future that was not dictated by the whims of a racist foreman or a mob boss. It held the possibility of new shoes for the children, of a doctor's visit without the attendant terror of the bill, of a life with a little more ease and a little less fear. Joe, for his part, found a new kind of freedom in the deception. He had once chafed under his burden as powerlessness, the constant grinding humiliation of his position in the world. Now, he had a secret power. He was more than just a beast of burden, a faceless black man in a sea of laborers. He was a strategist, a silent partner in a thriving enterprise, a man who was outsmarting the very people who thought him a fool. The knowledge gave him a new kind of confidence, a quiet authority that began to show in the way he carried himself, in the steady, direct way he met the eyes of other men. He and Eleanor were a team, their skills perfectly complementing each other. She was the visionary, the creator, the heart of the enterprise. He was the provider, the protector, the silent, steady hand that secured their supply chain. They were building something together, something that was theirs, something that was born of their shared courage and ingenuity. The secret they kept was a heavy one, but it was a burden they carried together, and its weight, paradoxically, made them feel lighter, stronger, and more free than they had ever been before. Next episode, Chapter 9, The Candy Lady.